Hello Internet, and welcome back to my Big Damn TV Geek vlog. This week I want to talk a little bit about Hannibal Season 2, which just wrapped up with a completely insane and totally amazing finale last week. Major spoiler warning before we get started. I'm going to talk pretty in detail about some of the events of Season 2, so if you're not caught up with the show, you probably want to stop and get caught up before you keep watching. Otherwise, let's get right to it. Now, there are a lot of things to love about Hannibal. It's one of the best things on TV right now. But I've narrowed it down to 5 things that I really like about the show and particularly enjoyed during Season 2. Starting with the really stunning visuals. I know this isn't necessarily new in Season 2, but I still just remain completely blown away by the way this show is filmed. The sensation of watching the series is unlike anything I've ever experienced watching TV. It's obviously horrifying because, dude eating and grotesquely murdering people, but at the same time it's filmed in a very dreamlike manner that makes things beautiful. It's possibly the most gorgeous thing on TV. And the food is prepared in such a way that it's stunning and almost makes you hungry, even though, oh God, that's meant to be people, what is wrong with me? So it's just this very interesting mix of horror and beauty and fascination with what's happening, and it's an amazing emotional mix that I really enjoy every week. One of the other things I've really loved about Season 2, and this is something I found Brian Fuller has always been terrific at, is the amazing guest cast. You get Gillian Anderson, you get Eddie Izzard, you get Gina Torres, you get Cynthia Nixon, you get Jeremy Davies, you get Michael Pitt, and the list just goes on and on and on. And I find that when a series can get really great talent like that to help flesh out its universe around the main characters, it just brings the series to a whole new level, and that was certainly the case here. I especially loved seeing more of Gillian Anderson as Bedelia du Maurier, and it looks like we will probably be seeing even more of her in Season 3 based on that last shot of the finale. I think her character's fascinating. We still clearly have no idea what her story is or what her allegiances are, and I'm very excited to find out what it is she's up to. I also really loved Gina Torres as Bella, Jack Crawford's dying wife. I think that story lent a nice humanity to everything going on with Jack, who could sometimes come off a bit gruff and unfeeling. And it was also an interesting little sidebar arc for Hannibal when he saved her from committing suicide. So lots of really interesting stuff going on with the guest cast this year that I think did a nice job of expanding the universe and making everything feel really lived in and interesting. Moving on, I also really enjoyed the Will in Prison arc the first half of the season. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked the entire season, but I was particularly impressed with the way the show handled Will's incarceration and the fallout surrounding it. I really loved how they handled the slow burn of him kind of convincing people he wasn't crazy and he wasn't the Chesapeake Ripper. And yes, Hannibal was in fact an evil bastard and probably the one that did all of this. The biggest consequence of all of this, of course, was him losing Beverly Katz because she was his first ally. It was heartbreaking to see her go off on her own, trying to help Will and to get herself killed. But the emotional resonance of it and the way it moved the plot forward was super effective, and I loved how the show handled it. I also really liked the way Will interacted with Abel Gideon, Eddie Izzard's character. I thought their little back and forth, particularly since Gideon has clearly resigned himself to the fact that no one's ever going to catch Hannibal, and Hannibal's probably going to kill him, which he was right on that account, was really, really fun to watch. So there was a lot of really interesting and meaty stuff happening while Will was locked away in that mental hospital that I really enjoyed watching. Next up, some of my favorite stuff to watch in Season 2 was the Will and Hannibal one-on-one scenes. During the second half of the season, once Will has gotten out of the mental hospital and is working on tricking Hannibal into doing something to get caught in the act, There were a ton of scenes of Will and Hannibal sitting in Hannibal's office just trying to outsmart each other. And those scenes were all amazing. It was so interesting watching the two of them just stare each other down, try not to be the first guy that blinks, try not to say anything wrong, and it was just amazing, amazing work. Mads Mikkelsen and Hugh Dancy are such incredible actors, and they could put so much behind a little twitch of a lip or half a blink or head tilt that it was just incredible to watch. And I loved all of those little therapy scenes and how much weight and tension and meaning was put behind all of them. So those were some of my favorite scenes to watch, not just in season 2, but in the series thus far. Last, certainly not least, that amazing finale. I mean, holy crap. It's been a week and I still can't wrap my head around all of the insanity that happened in that finale. We knew going in it was probably going to be ugly. We saw the flash forward to the fight between Jack Crawford and Hannibal, and that it ended with Jack with a piece of glass stuck in his neck, bleeding out in Hannibal's pantry. But this went above and beyond the insanity that I could ever have possibly imagined. Jack is still, in fact, bleeding out in the pantry, but we also have poor Alana bleeding out on the sidewalk outside of Hannibal's house after being pushed out a window by Abigail Hobbs, who was apparently not dead, except now she probably is dead because Hannibal slit her throat to punish Will for not forgiving him after gutting Will with a knife. So he's also bleeding out on Hannibal's kitchen floor. And then Hannibal just walked away from these 4 people, all in various states of bleeding profusely all over his home, and hopped on a plane with Bedelia to God knows where to flee the inevitable federal manhunt coming his way. And that is how the season ended. What? I'm so glad that the show got renewed for season 3, because the fallout from all of this is going to be fascinating, and I can't wait to see what the show looks like with the inevitable character deaths. I'm sure not all 4 of those characters make it, and with Hannibal on the run with Bedelia. It's going to be amazing, and it's so ballsy for this show to potentially just axe every character we know. Amazing stuff. So that's some of the stuff I love about Hannibal. What did you guys think of season 2? Did you have any particular favorite moments? Let me know in the comments. As always, please like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel so you can keep on watching my vlogs. You can follow me on Twitter at BigDamnTVGeek, and there's a link to my blog in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.